right, you guys, podcast time.
Chew. It's quieter.
Fucking podcasting right now.
Chew quieter.
And now, to the podcast studio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Chew Quieter. Just kind of level set. We had a few guests this past few weeks. Last 2 weeks we had some guests, so those were fun if you paid attention to those topics and follow along. One of them was Alabama State Bill 254. We had Randy Morris on. It looks like they might be making some headway with that. So
nice. That's good.
Yeah.
It. After that episode, I was thinking about it. Like, it makes sense in other places, but not necessarily in a public park. But they just don't want us to have the ability to escape the government. Is the other thing too. It's like I'll just leave and just go off grid and forget the government. They don't want you out of their sight.
So an article came out the day after we filmed that episode, and basically said that the state senator, I think it was his father or in-law, something like that, relative to him, is the county commissioner where Indian Mountain is, where one of the parks that is being targeted.
Okay.
He's a commissioner down there. He realized that park is making good money and realized that the county is not getting some of that money and wanted some of that money. So this is their way of getting that money. And now it's become an ethics issue because the senator is trying to push for it as a favor to the county commissioner. So it's a little interesting that the good old boy politics is being called out.
It's mobster mentality. I mean, everything is like that. Anything in the government looks like that now. It's just money. It's like who's gonna funnel money back to line some pockets to make this happen.
Yep. And just like we said in the interview with Randy, I had a feeling that it was about that, and it's just money driven. It's greed.
More money grab.
Yep. And then we also had Bailey Campbell on, which was a fun interview.
Yes,
she's a sweet kid.
She's incredible. She's a great girl. I guess I've known her for quite some time, and it's always fun to get to see her and hang out with her, and it's a good time always. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thanks, Bailey.
Yeah. Do you want to take this opportunity to explain to the audience why we had to just really quickly end the episode?
Yeah, sorry. Typically, I don't have things going on this early in the day, but my daughter's taking her senior pictures last week, and all of a sudden, what you can't see if I turn the camera this way is my door in my office, and they're both on the side of the monitors yelling and screaming at me.
Dad, we're gonna be late.
Oh yeah, and my phone's popping off and texts, whatever, and then they're over here, and she's in here. She's like sitting right here to my left. I'm like, okay, I'm getting through this. Let me get this last point on all. We got to go. So
this is why I don't have children, any kids, is because I would forget to pick them up from the babysitter. That's the kind of person that I would be. From school.
I don't do that, but I knew how much time we had, and I was monitoring the time, and she was freaking out about the time. I knew we had to about 10:15 after to get through it, and I could kind of push through this. But it's kind of my mistake. Remember I told you I was going to be in the car?
Yeah.
Recording last week?
Yeah.
Well, if I would have just stayed in the car recording, I could have stopped somewhere by where they were going to meet me and had another hour. But the problem is I came an hour back home, so we could just go in one car and then record from the house, and it was just a cluster. It's a clusterfuck. I tried to do the right thing, and I fucked myself in the end. So
So who
it's the
put
way
you
it
on
always is.
punishment, the wife or the kid?
Nobody. I got up there and they were on time. She took great pictures. We had a great time. I was perfectly on time. So we got up there. She had a 6:00 appointment with the photographer. And we got in the car and it said ETA 6:10 or something like that. And she's like, "See, we're going to be late." And I go, "You're not going to be late. That's just Google telling you when you're going to be there."
That's if we drive the speed limit.
That's if we drive like a normal fucking person.
Right.
I drive like me. So we got there at 2 minutes after 6. The girl was just getting out of her car when we pulled in. So it was like perfect timing. And then they didn't even go the full 2 hours. They went like an hour and 10 minutes. So I was like, whatever, you got it all done. So it was fine. Just the panic of you're not paying attention to when I need to leave. It's like, was fun.
So that Google ETA time is always fun to try to beat. And I always beat it. So for example, on Friday, I'm going golfing with Mark Hendricks. And it says that it's going to take me about 35 minutes to get there. And I've been there before to this golf course. And it only took me 30 minutes last time. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, do I beat my personal best? Or do I...
or just beat Google?
Or just beat Google, yeah.
See, I would have been there 2 minutes earlier, except for going up the hill. It's a 1-lane road or 2-lane highway, so you're just one lane. And I got behind the people that were going less than the speed limit, so they just screwed me until I could get around them. But yeah, no, that's a challenge accepted, Google. That's not. Oh, I'll be there in 35 minutes. No, that's challenge accepted, Mr. Google.
My wife was freaking out on Saturday, so we went to a birthday party for a friend of ours, surprise birthday party. And by the way, shout out to the guys from Wide Open Design here in Murfreesboro, in Tennessee. They listened to the show. Adam and Jason were there. Got to talk with them for a little bit, and Jason was saying that some of the guys listened to the show while we're working in the shop. So shout out to you guys out there at Wide Open.
Yeah. Wide Open Designs, the home of crane axles, which 14 bolts that I'm putting in the Scout. So I've worked a lot
whenever
with,
that's done.
Yeah, quiet. So I've had a lot of conversations with Adam Woodley and the building and implementation of these axles for this use. My buddy Kyle over at Hensley Automotive, he actually has 2 of the crane axles going into his buggies building. He's definitely going on the extreme version of the axles, and I'm more of the beginner but bunny run.
So on the way back from the party, we were taking the back roads. Of course, I mean, in the country, mostly everything is going to be back country road anyway. So speed limit was 45, and it's at night, and there's a lot of curvy roads, and some of them that dip down, and the horizon of the road disappears for a minute. And I'm driving like I'm playing my sim. And I see my wife all of a sudden just grab the door handle, like, oh shit, like she's holding on for dear life, and she's doing that. And I finally like, are you okay? She's like, it's dark out. Can you drive slower? I'm like, I'm fine. I can see perfectly. There would be times where I'll hit the high beams and get a little bit of more distance to where I'm looking at ahead. I'm also looking at the GPS where it's telling me if there's going to be curvy roads, so I know. And finally, all of a sudden, I'm about 55 miles an hour, almost 60, and a fucking armadillo decides it wants to cross the road. So I was like, shit. So instead of hitting the brakes and just locking them up, I swerve, and I swerve towards the right, and the armadillo decides I'm going to go that way too, instead of going back the other way. So I ran the fucker over.
Yeah, that would be my move right there. Just not try to kill myself. Sorry, don't be on the road.
Yeah. So she had just watched.
Bigger animals. I will go around.
Yeah.
Armadillo, you're getting run over.
Yeah. So she had just watched the car, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to watch the car again."
Oh, you got it that good, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
Like there was some crunch. There was a big thud.
Oh.
Might need an alignment.
A little speed bump. You hit a little speed bump over there on the road.
Yeah, I was really surprised how many armadillo are actually out here. I didn't know. I always thought armadillos were a Texas thing.
With a Texas only now, and you start seeing them across the southeast on the side of the road and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy how many are out here. And about a week and a half ago, I was at the gun range and driving home. I saw, I think it was a bobcat. It was not a domestic cat, that's for damn sure. It was much bigger and much burlier.
Probably a bobcat.
Didn't have a long tail. Had a big head. I'm pretty sure it was a bobcat. So
it could have been a lynx.
Could have been, yeah. Either way, it's a wild animal.
It's a wild animal you don't want to fuck with.
No. But that thing crossed my path, and I was more intrigued by it than anything. So I slowed down to look at it. I was like, holy fuck. I've never seen one of those in like real life. I've been to the zoo, but I've never like encountered one
in the wild. Never seen one in the wild. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the first time I saw a Japanese person. I've only seen them on TV. I've never seen them in real life.
You grew up in Southern California. Come on.
Yeah, but I grew up in Whittier. There's nothing but Mexicans. At least back then, there's nothing but Mexicans and whites that were living in that neighborhood.
So I grew up in Monterey Park. I had all of them.
Yeah.
Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. So we had the melting pot of the Asian influence in Monterey Park.
It wasn't until probably junior high when I started realizing there were more ethnicities around the area. And it kind of blew my mind.
Because you're so in that neighborhood at that time, you were 97% brown.
Oh yeah.
And then a couple of white faces and a couple of black faces and maybe a yellow face.
Okay, so no black faces.
No,
well, I take that back. I remember this specifically because
this is gonna get very inappropriate. But I feel this.
So I was at the Boys and Girls Club of Uptown Whittier. This must have been around 1984, 1985, around there. And I was with my stepbrother, and we're in line to buy, not to buy, but to get a ticket to get a rack of balls for the pool table. Mm-hmm. And in front of us was a black kid. And I think it was the first time we both saw a black person, like, other than on TV. And so we're kind of like, look at, there's a black kid right there. Oh my God, look at that. There's a black kid. The whole thing. And he's right in front of us. So he turned around and was like, what? I was like, hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. He turns around and my stepbrother pats his afro. Like to see like what's going on with that thing. So the kid turns around and is like, why are you touching my hair? And as soon as he turns around and said that, I'm like, it was him. And I point to my stepbrother. He was so intimidated. He was just like, fuck it, I'm out. And he left. He just walked right out.
You didn't play pool that day?
No, he went right home. But
I wasn't that sheltered.
I wasn't sheltered. It was just we
No,
just
no,
stuck to our
no,
neighborhood.
just or not sheltered. It's not sheltered. I wasn't that.
Alienated,
I don't think that where I
segregated.
grew up was that well, no, there was segregation. I mean, it was still 90% brown faces, and but as I grew older, Monterey Park became like the mecca of Asian everything.
Yeah.
I remember my uncle used to always joke about it. It's like, yeah, whoever's the last one here, just remember to take the flag because because they're coming taking over, and like the Asian racism that I grew up with was is just
Oh
ridiculous.
God. Yeah. So my uncle's wife, she's Hawaiian, I think, or mixed. I never asked, never found out. But I remember one family dinner um, at my grandmother's house. I had put extra rice on my plate. I was like, for whatever reason, I was eating a lot of rice. My uncle looks at me and he's like, "Hey, you need to be careful eating all that rice. You're gonna turn Chinese like your aunt." And so I was naive at the time. I'm thinking any adult that tells me something, it's probably true. So I think it was a couple weeks later where we're in school. I'm in school, and we were studying the Wild West and how the railroads were being built
by the Chinese immigrants,
by the Chinese immigrants, right?
Yeah, so Chinese immigrant slaves.
Yeah,
is basically what they were.
Right. So I had made a comment, something like, maybe if they didn't eat so much rice, their eyes wouldn't look like that. And the look on my teacher's face was like, "Oh my fucking God, what did you say?" And so, of course, they sent me to the principal's office, and I had to explain myself, and I had to explain that what my uncle said. Then my dad had to explain to the principal why my uncle was joking the way he was joking, which was an uncomfortable situation for my dad, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, none of the racism that I was up against was that lighthearted. You know, brown people are the most racist people in the fucking world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They hit every other color, including their own color.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, well, someone's being racist." I'm like,
that's what I understand.
Think about where it's coming from.
Why are they? Why do so many brown people hate Trump? I mean, they're. I mean, obviously Trump was talking about MS-13 when he said they're not sending their best. They're not sending, that whatever he said. Yeah. That was all taken out of context. They took a little snippet. The media took it and just ran with it. And all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, Trump is racist." No, he's not. He's telling the fucking truth.
I grew up with the Cheech and Chong jokes about them calling the immigration on their own people because they didn't like they didn't like their cousin. Their cousin's freaking useless. Their cousin doesn't belong here. Their cousin, whatever. I'm gonna call the immigration so they get deported. Fuck, really? Come on.
Well, there was that song that Tommy Chong had.
The Beaners song.
Yeah, the Beaners song. It's fucking classic cheap for one thing, because I don't if anyone ever heard their old records, they're borderline racist, but it's not racist because it's funny. It's that kind of comedy, and that's exactly what the Beaner song was. So hold on, I'm going to play this because people are going to need to get an idea of exactly what we're talking about, because not everyone grew up to Cheech and Chong like we did. I mean, I think it was pretty much regional for the most part. Their stuff. Why isn't this working?
Yeah, definitely be in Southern California. You see cultural things that don't typically cross outside of the border,
Right.
as it
So here's the
as it
song.
may be.
Here's the song.
Right there, okay, let's try it. Mexican Americans don't like to just get into gang fights. They like flowers and music and white girls named Debbie too. Mexican Americans are named Chata and Chela and Chema and have a son-in-law named Jeff. Mexican Americans don't like to get up early in the morning, but they have to, so they do it real slow. Mexican Americans love education, so they go to night school and they take Spanish and get a B. Yeah, leave that in. Mexican Americans love their nanas and their nonos and their ninas and their ninos. Nanu, nanu, nina, no, no. Mexican Americans don't like to go to the movies where the dude has to wear contact lenses to make his blue eyes brown. Cause don't it make my brown eyes blue? And that's all I got. How do you like it?
Oh, that's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
It's like a protest tune, man.
yeah, I dig that.
Protest
Yeah.
tune.
But you know, while you were singing that, I wrote another tune. You know?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's like the same thing, only different. You know? Do you want to hear it? It's like a little more
Same
rock
thing, but
and
only
roll.
different.
All right, we'll get down.
It's something like this here. Beaters. I gotta work a little more in the lyrics.
Yeah, that's it,
It's
man.
kind of like,
Yeah, I
you know.
gotta
Beaters.
That's classic. It's just
Yeah.
I don't think that I could have ever seen that movie enough times when I was younger.
No.
I could have watched it probably constantly.
Well, we used to watch it every single time we would ditch school and smoke pot and get drunk. It was mandatory. We watched
So
that.
so every other day.
Yeah, pretty much. It was all Cheech and Chong all the time. We watched a lot of those movies, and then my friend's dad had some Red Fox records, and so we would listen to Red Fox records too.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cheech and Chong had records also. So back in the day, comedians would put their bits and everything else on record.
On record, yeah.
And that's how they got known. Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Red Skeleton,
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong.
Steve Martin.
Yeah. Did I say Richard Pryor?
Richard Pryor. Yeah, Richard Pryor was out there. Geez, why am I drawing a blank?
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
What was the other comedian? Legendary from New York. Bruce. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. Oh God, I'm gonna hurt myself for not remembering this name.
Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce. Thank
Lenny
you.
Bruce.
Thank you. Yeah.
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 Great
shit.
I remember Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Was had a couple of Bill Cosby comedy stand-ups, and he was more of a talker and more stories than just jokes and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Yeah,
like
I still
that.
remember his stand-up where he's talking about his wife giving birth. I mean, that's classic Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Talking
Before
about
he
his
started-
son. Even
before he started
even-
popping pills and women's drinks and shit.
Yeah, well, before the Cosby Show, like the comedy was all wrapped up into what the Cosby Show turned out to be.
Right.
Was around his wife and his son. Enos was his son. He used to always have a bit about how his son was being a boy. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all this.
Didn't his
stuff,
kid die?
I don't know.
I think he might have died at an early age. Could be wrong. Anyway. Speaking of black comedians, OJ Simpson died.
Yeah.
He's not exactly a comedian, but that shit was funny.
That he died?
I can't believe he got away with that shit. But I mean, anyone that believes that he didn't murder Ron and Nicole, we need to have a talk.
Come on, the glove didn't fit.
If you took off the latex glove that he was putting the real glove on over, I bet you that would have fit.
I saw the pictures. Those were way too small for his hands. They don't fit. He had to quit.
I don't know, man. I just the fact that he
hey, the fact that you freaking manipulated the system and got away with it, fucking good for you.
Well, the manipulation was having so many black people on the jury. That's all it was, because at the time black folks were looking for retribution for Rodney King.
Yeah.
So they wanted to win. And that's what they got their win with OJ.
Yeah.
I remember when he was running from the police in the Bronco.
And yeah, he was in the back, probably he was probably passed out on freaking half of his fucking mind, and Cowling was driving like aimlessly down the freaking freeway at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. So I was with my mom at the time, and we were in Huntington Beach. We had just got out of a sporting goods store, and we had heard on the radio, OJ Simpson was on the run. And we're like, I mean, this is before live streaming, this is before the internet and all that. So the radio was our source of news for everything at the time.
Yeah. Radio or TV, yeah.
Yeah.
Newspaper.
So we're right.
But the newspaper wasn't instant, so the best you can get is radio.
Yeah. So we're listening to the radio and we're just totally locked in. Of course, OJ Simpson went to USC, so he was he was known in Southern California, and that's where all of our interest came from. Also, he was at the time he was in movies. He had just did Naked Gun, so he was pretty well known. So we're listening to the radio. We're a couple of miles away from the 405 freeway, and we hear he's on the 405 freeway. And my mom and I look at each other like, oh, maybe we'll see OJ. Little did we know he was way the fuck, north on the 405 freeway. So we had half a thought to go to one of the overpasses.
Just wait for him to cross by.
Yeah, and see if we would see him. But obviously that didn't happen. So we actually raced home to watch the coverage on the news. And I remember everyone that was watching in the house at the time had this humongous gasp of when he pulls in and his son starts running to him in the Bronco. We're like, oh my God, someone's going to shoot him or something. We didn't know who it was. Turned out to be his son.
Yeah. But
there was a standoff in the Bronco. Police were at his front door. He was surrounded. He was fucked.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the trial starts. And it became a shit show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, at that point, that was the beginning of the Kardashians, too.
Yeah. Robert Shapiro was one of his attorneys.
Was his attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even that lineup of attorneys that he got. I mean,
I'm sorry, I said Robert Shapiro. That was one of his attorneys, but the other one was not Robert Kardashian. What was his name? Was it Robert? I can't remember now.
I don't know. It was the then husband.
Yeah, but Shapiro was his attorney.
Shapiro was Shapiro. I mean, he had a
Cochran.
cast. Cochran, yeah, the whole cast of. I mean, that at that point, he spent millions of dollars on getting out of that.
Yep.
And that had only probably at the time really only been successful by the Cocaine Cowboys.
Right.
Getting completely off of a case that they have every evidence that says you did it, and you're like, no, I didn't do it, and they get you off.
Freeway Rick Ross needed those attorneys. No, man. See, here's what happened. The guy from the CIA came down to the neighborhood. He gave me a bag of dope and said, "Here, go sell this shit." Then he came back the next week and said, "Here's a bag of dope. Here's a recipe to make this into crack cocaine, motherfucker. Crack cocaine." Kind of feel bad for Rick Ross because he was under the impression that what he was doing was kind of okay. The government gave him the drugs to sell.
Yeah.
We're getting way off topic already. We need to stick to OJ for a second because
wait, this is a good one though.
Okay. We'll talk about this for
this is a good one. So have you seen the movies or the TV show Snowfall?
Yes, it's based on that.
It's based on that. It is how the CIA funded the crack epidemic.
Right.
Cocaine, crack. Even the Cocaine Cowboys were somewhat intertwined with the government. The government was kind of looking the other way and all of it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Government does shady shit.
Yeah. You know, that's probably one of the only drugs that I've never done is crack. I've done multiple forms of nose candy, you know, meth, cocaine, sniffed all kinds of shit. Special K.
Wait, what's Special K?
Ketamine.
Never had that.
It's pretty good. It's
I need to start putting a list together of.
No, you don't. Trust me.
Let me get my pen. Hold on, let me find my pen.
Sharpen that motherfucker really quick.
Where's my pad? Where's my pen and my pad? I need to find some new drugs to do.
I've been on everything except fucking roller skates.
I broke my ankle on a burnt pair of roller skates.
I have been on rollerblades though. I have been on rollerblade stoned. So there's your
Does that make it easier?
No.
Does that make it easier?
No.
Because I can't rollerblade. I can roller skate like crazy, but I can't rollerblade. But I have the same problem with ice skating. I don't know if it's just the ankles just don't like that shear. But I have a tendency to roll my ankle if I just step on a pebble. I'll just roll and just like, oh, my ankle.
So I started smoking pot when I was 12. I had a cousin that had a marijuana plant, and he was so eager to show somebody the plant. So he's like, we went to his house for a family thing, and he's like, come here, let me show you something. Opens up his closet, and there's this plant. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, it's marijuana. I was like, what's marijuana?
What the fuck is that?
He's like, let me tell you. It's kind of like that movie Walk Hard, Dewey Cox story. When he walks in, what's that? Dewey, you don't want none of this. It makes you happy, slows down everything. It's horrible. No, it sounds pretty good. I think I want it.
I want some of that.
But that's kind of how it was. He was just like, you know, he told me what it was, and he was like, I have a joint. You want to smoke it? And I didn't know how to fucking smoke. I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
So we went outside and sparked it. And my life went downhill really quick after that.
Is it really downhill? Can you say it's really downhill?
Well, when I say downhill, I say that because from that point on, my life's ambition was to always just be stoned. And that's what I did.
Again, I'm not seeing the downhill here.
It was ultimately the demise of my high school education.
Yeah,
I was always ditching high school to go smoke pot. I was either ditching high school to go smoke pot, or I was late to school because I was smoking pot, or I would leave early from school
to go smoke pot.
Yeah. Ultimately, I realized, like a Jedi, this is not the way. If I could take it all back, I would. I would have never started smoking pot.
So many things that you could take back from your childhood and stupid things, and how would it change your life, and would you be happy with that life, or are you just happy with the fact that your life is good now and you can look back and go, oh, that shit fucked me up, or you know what, that was just the path that I came to get to where I'm at?
Well, the reason why I say that is because it definitely affected my education. There's so much more that I could have learned that I didn't. If I would have had a focused on my education, I might have went to college. If I went to college, I might be an aerospace engineer. I might be working with Elon Musk, developing EVs and be a millionaire right now. It's just what if, what could have been type thing. But yeah. Do I really, really regret it? No, because I love my life.
Yeah.
There's so much that I could take away from things that did happen and still apply it to life today as a learning experience, or just having that wisdom overall. Like, for example, I know how many grams is going to go into an ounce.
Yeah.
I know how many ounces make a pound. Mm-hmm. And why do I know that? It's because I made a lot of money selling dope.
Yeah. But
that was part of that was a different part of an education.
Right. It's a different education, but
yeah.
But look at that. And you go, it's the regret. Like I always hear like the regret. Oh, why didn't I? Whatever. Yeah. Well, what would have changed? Would you have not moved to Colorado? Would you have not started getting involved in Jeeps? Would you have not got involved with guns? Would you have not got involved with your wife? Would you have not got involved? Would you not have the house that you have? Would you not have the hobbies you have? What would really change if that path changed and you did something different?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I look back and go, that was fucking stupid. That was even dumber. And I did all that, and I'm like, would I change it? Nah. It is what it is. It's part of my story. It's part of who's made me who I am today. Would I change anything? Yeah, I'd probably be born to rich parents. That'd be the one thing I'd change.
I can count on one hand. I might need a second hand, but I can count how many times I've been shot at while being stoned.
Well, why are you getting shot at when you're stoned?
Oh, let's see. Let me pick out a story here. Okay, I was at my friend's house, and we were just on his front porch smoking pot. He was a womanizer. He had a lot of chicks. He didn't care if these chicks had boyfriends or not, and he didn't care if those boyfriends were from gangs. So we're smoking pot, and all of a sudden this car pulls up and stops in front of his house, and he just says, "Ernie, hey Ernie," and we're all like, "Who the fuck is that?" And one of my friends starts walking closer to him. He's like looking it's dark at night, so he's like kind of like peeking in the window to see who it is. The only window that's rolled down was the passenger side, and he's talking to us through the passenger side window. So he gets closer and he's like, "Oh shit!" And all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. And I duck. And as I duck, I feel this glass hitting me on top of my head. A bullet, if I didn't duck maybe the second shot, I probably would have been hit right in the forehead, because where I was standing, a bullet had went through the window. So
right.
he must have had a little small gun or something, because he only let off like 7 rounds.
Yeah, little pea
And
shooter.
yeah, just took off. So didn't find any casings outside, so they probably all landed in the vehicle.
In the vehicle, yeah.
We later find out that it definitely was a gangbanger that my friend Ernie had been messing with this guy's girlfriend, and he was trying to get revenge. Here's the fucked up part. After the first shot, Ernie runs inside of his fucking house, leaves all of his friends outside to fucking get shot at.
Where's Ernie now?
I think he's a janitor somewhere. He never really, his life never really materialized. I lost contact with him probably 20 years ago.
See, that's the difference in the regret. If you can do all you're doing and have the history you had, then you did fine.
Yeah.
You ended up like that, where you're a janitor, you don't have much going for you, and that's really affected you. It didn't really drag you down.
Yeah. Well, I also had parents that were always telling me, "You're fucking up. You're fucking up."
Yeah. There's a drive, and there's a level of, you have a level of intelligence. You have a level of drive from your family that keeps pushing you to keep doing the right thing.
Yeah. So back to OJ. And I want to get back to OJ because during the trial, one of the funniest characters during the trial was what the fuck was his name? Kato Kalin.
Kato Kalin.
Yeah. And I think he was a part of like 2 or 3 different skits for SNL, and then at the time Mad TV was on.
Mm-hmm.
They did skits on him on Mad TV. And Living Color, they did skits on him on Living Color.
Yeah.
The guy was just a dope.
Yeah, he was a doper.
Yeah, he was stoned. Imagine if he didn't smoke pot, he wouldn't have known OJ Simpson.
Exactly. See, you gotta like look at it.
Life takes a turn just because of pot. Folks, if you're listening right now and your children are suffering from marijuana abuse, have them listen to this episode.
Or not. Oh, geez.
Really quick, shout out to Michael Nadel, Globex Performance. As you can see on Armando's microphone, he's got Glow Bear.
I got the Glow Bear. You see the Glow Bear wiener right there?
The Glow Bear penis.
I also have the new GBX sealed with the kiss. I got my my package in the mail with the little kissy, and there you go. So
Michael's a good
dude. Great dude. Love the whole team from the shop. Few years doing the New Jersey Jeep Invasion on the beach in Wildwood. I've got to hang out and do some fun stuff and really get to hang out with those guys on my East Coast adventures back in the day. So I've got to know those guys pretty well, and Michael and I don't talk as much as we used to anymore, but still talk a considerable amount, and still one of my idols.
Yeah. He's got weird taste in wheels, but hey, that's not my money. Fuck it.
I knew we were going there. I knew we were hitting that somehow this episode. Shit.
Oh man. Are we done with OJ now?
I've been done with OJ. I was over with OJ in like 30 years ago.
The juice is dead.
See, to me, it's always he's always OJ running through the airport.
Yeah. The Hertz commercial.
In the Hertz commercial, that's it, or Nordberg, or the Naked Gun.
Do you remember that record with Ice Cube, WC, and Mac 10? It was called West Side Connection.
West Side Connection. Yeah.
So they had a song called I forget the name of the song, but Ice Cube had a verse very cleverly written about OJ. And it's still one of my favorite verses that Ice Cube has ever written. But he's talking about OJ getting away with it, running through the airport, jumping over chairs. Very cleverly written. If anyone ever wants to check it out, it's West Side Connection. I think they only had one album as a group, maybe two, but it was the first. It was on the first one.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere. I'm trying to find it. I think it might be on this drive here.
That's old school. You're still keeping shit on thumb drives. Wow.
Yeah, because I can put it in the car. It can go in the Jeep. It can go in the truck, and it just plugs in, and I can listen to music without attaching my phone.
See, that's why I have the phone with the extra hard drive space. I just put it all on my phone.
I have the extra hard drive space, but the problem is that I not always have proper battery management skills.
Speaking of Ice Cube, he was trying to offer one of the women NCAA basketball players $5 million to go play for his Big Three basketball league. Caitlin, whatever the fuck her name is, she set a record for career points in women's NCAA basketball. Ice Cube has lately become a lot of talk on Twitter. He's starting to let people realize they need to be red pilled in a sense. He's been red pilled. He sees that the vote for blue no matter who type shit has fucked up inner cities, is fucking up black people, and he's speaking out about it.
He's gonna end up on the next Kanye crazy path.
I don't know. He makes more sense. He makes way more sense than Kanye.
No, it's the premise is right, but after all of the chatter from the background hits in there, you see that starts to make him a little more crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's funny is there's a lot of black folks upset with him.
Yeah,
like,
how can you stand up for
the Republicans? You don't understand what you're saying, Ice Cube. And Ice Cube was like, no, I do understand what I'm saying. The CIA were the ones that are telling me that we should make these records.
Yeah. I mean, it's the whole ideology and the political landscape of Republicans and Democrats, and when the lines crossed, and what people thought of, or people have thought the Democratic Party has stood for all these years, is now becoming, oh, this is the face of it. What's behind it? All this shit's behind it. So it's all just like, oh yeah, I'm your friend, or a friend, or a friend, or your friend. But behind it all, it's all the shit.
Yeah. That's why we need a third party that can be included in debates and have stability, create stability within the country. Because I think the two parties need to have a check. They need to be checked.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every Republican is great. Every Republican is on the up and up, because let's face it, they're not. Look at Andrew Jones down in Alabama with this SB 253. Sounds like he's a rhino. He's just, he only has an R next to his name because that's how they vote down there, no matter what.
Yeah.
If he was going to be labeled as a Democrat, he would not get that vote.
Yep. And that's yeah, it's backwards. Everything's backwards.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. And it's all going to come to a head at some point, and we're going to have an awakening on both sides. I think more so on the blue side, because the ideology of the wokeness, all of the, the DEI stuff, it's already starting to play out now. People are realizing, shit, I didn't get this job, even though I'm super fucking qualified, because they need to have a black face or a brown face sitting in this chair instead of my white face.
Mm-hmm.
Asians are starting to realize this too. They're now being pushed out of school programs because of DEI.
Yep.
Scholarships are being taken away from people because of DEI. So there's people realizing that this is now just the new affirmative action.
That's all it is. I mean, the idea of what affirmative action is good, but the implementation of it is not always the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you can say, oh yeah, you can't discriminate, but then you can't say, well, this person you have to have more color diversity. You have to have this diversity. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. I really don't have to. If I interview 100 people and 99 of them are different color face, and there's one guy who's like fucking top notch, leaps and bounds above the rest of them, and that's the one I want to hire. I can't hire him. Now I have to settle for something else because I need to have diversity. Like it doesn't make sense. No. And I get it. And the idea of affirmative action is to not have someone be excluded from the process. Mm-hmm. Not you're just automatically you get it above someone who's equivalent. And, right. And that's where the implementation fails.
Yeah. Everything needs to be merit based. I'm not gonna have someone dictate who my doctor is because there aren't enough black or brown faces in this doctor's office. I'm going to the doctor that has the better track record, the better education, a better track record of successful surgeries or diagnosis. I'm not going to a doctor that has, in other words, let's put it like this. Let's say there's 3 doctors. One is a black face, one is a brown face, one is a white face. One of these doctors on Google ratings has a 1 star. One of them has 3 stars, one of them has 5 stars. Right away, you're going to go straight to the 5-star, right? No matter, you're probably not even going to look at the name.
No, you're just going to look. You're going to look at the rating. You're going to look at your experience. I mean, and what you want to do. You're putting your life in your health in someone's hands. Are you really going to go with the 1-star doctor? I'm not. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a reason that I chose where I went for my cancer treatment, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's all white faces there. It's not really, but I'm just saying this that's not really part of a decision. It's a matter of, okay, who does this in this area? Who's the best? I mean, you do it with everything. We do it with everything, and it's okay. You choose a grocery store that you like because they have this that you like the best there.
Yeah,
I don't choose one because has so many colored faces that work there. Although we do choose the one carniceria because the brown faces make really good carne asada. So there's that, but that doesn't really matter because we go to the Asian market and there's the brown guys behind there chopping fish. So.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Everything comes full circle. I just hope that this latest circle that we're going through, this roundabout, comes to conclusion soon, because I mean, I think the only way to have that wrap up is if we have Trump in office or another Republican in office, because any more of the wokeness that's coming from the Democrats is let's face it, that's what's ruining it. They're pushing this stuff. They're the ones that are saying,
and it's excessive what they're pushing.
Yeah.
It's beyond normalcy, and the world has always been survival of the fittest. It's always been majority rules, and when you switch that and you allow whiner rules to happen, this is what happens.
they're not even letting this happen organically. If it was happening organically, I can see that as okay, I'll accept that.
No.
But it's not.
Nope. They're just letting the squeaky wheel dominate instead of just kicking it down and saying, "No, we don't need any wheels."
Yeah. Now you got me pissed off.
This is all OJ's. This is all OJ's fault. This is all. It's all an OJ. This is all an OJ. OJ was the topic. It's all an OJ. OJ did it all.
Now I want to smoke a fucking joint. Damn it. Speaking of OJ running and all that sort of thing, the 2024 Olympic torch was just lit for the Paris Olympics. Do you remember the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles?
Kind of. I'm not a real big Olympics person.
I used to be.
And my parents would watch it, and it was always like 24 hours of Olympics the whole freaking weekend was on. And I think I just like, fucking Olympics.
I think I remember the 84 Olympics the most because we had the biggest names back then. Bruce Jenner, when he was an actual man.
When he was
Flojo, Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
Yeah, I mean,
Edwin
the
Moses.
history back then. Yeah, no way. I mean, we dominated. Yeah, even the Winter Olympics, we even had our own people like beating each other with bats or pipes to try to be number one. So it was exciting times for the Olympics back in the 80s and 90s.
It was.
Or probably for me, probably the 70s to the 90s was the most memorable of what I would say Olympic experiences are. But I don't think I've watched a minute of Olympics since probably the 90s.
Mm.
Is that me?
Or is
that you?
It might be. Sorry, folks, we're having some technical issues. All right, let's wrap this up because our internet connection, for whatever reason, for this site that we're using, it's bugging out. So we should probably end this. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening again. And I think next week we're going to have a guest. So stay tuned for that and have a good weekend.